Jaehaerys called the Great Council to prevent a war being fought over his succession.
I thought to ground people in the New World, we needed some kind of epic opening. The thing that the Great Council should tell you is that this is a patriarchy and that the men of the realm want to keep the men in power.
By the end of its 8th season, Game of Thrones once again shocked its audience by opting not to go out with a bang but a whimper. And it seems to have been with that same whimper that it's been brought back to life in the form of its prequel series, House of the Dragon. The first episode in this series takes every part of the winning formula that once put Game of Thrones on the map and throws it out the window. Engaging, multi-layered characters have been replaced by two-dimensional cardboard cutouts. Plot twists and nuanced storylines are swapped for predictability and a narration laying out the entire story within the opening scene. And striking visual imagery has been switched for flat, muddied photography. Much like how Secrets of Dumbledore visually turned Hogwarts into a mausoleum, House of the Dragon has rendered the Iron Throne into a sort of beige lazy boy. Something I would have appreciated having on standby after fighting to stay awake through this all too exciting first episode. So let's break down exactly why the cinematography of House of the Dragon looks so dull. First, let's take a look at the scene with the Iron Throne. From its wide angles, it's established that the light source is coming from natural light streaming into the room through its many large windows, primarily backlighting the Iron Throne and then lighting the actors from the side as they step into frame. In this scene, as well as most others, they generally stay true to the established light sources throughout the scenes, something that's not always paid close attention to. So far, really great job. However, visually, this just looks one-dimensional, as we don't get any outlines or details of the structure, but rather dark, amorphous shapes set against a couple of beams of light. Additionally, the backlight doesn't provide any visual interest as it's quite heavily diffused, something I believe that is a real missed opportunity to provide some beautiful foreshadowing for the rest of the episode. So with a few minor tweaks to the lighting structure, I think this could have been greatly improved. First, adding in a small amount of fill light via some space lights could have brought out the details in this set, giving character to the room while also maintaining the moody, dramatic look that they were going for. Next, removing all diffusion from the backlight and lowering its angle would have made this much more interesting, not only bringing out more definition from the Iron Throne, but also throwing sharply defined, long shadows of the throne across the stone floor for the actors to then step into, hinting at future events in the show. Small changes like these in the lighting structure would greatly improve the rest of the scenes as well, as House of the Dragon almost seems afraid of trying anything unique with these structures, looking at how it utilizes its light source for its interior shots. As you can see in scene after scene after scene, the angle of the light coming from the window is almost always pointed away from the actors, which does a real disservice to the scenes. It not only makes less use of the beautifully designed sets, but it also strips the scenes of the dramatic weight that they could have had. Let's take a look at the round table scenes as another example. The light is established as coming from outside the window and from candlelight, but both are quite heavily diffused, and the different color temperatures of these sources combined with all that diffusion leads to a bit of mixing of the colors on the actors' faces and kind of gives it this muddy look. Taking the same concept from my fix on the Iron Throne scene, changing the angle of the light to point directly onto the actors and the table and removing its diffusion, we could have a much more dramatic scene with defined rings of light playing off the table and the actors' faces. Now this is something that the show does to a much lesser extent in this close-up here, but the light is still quite diffused, opting not to draw hard lines on the actor's face. In the last scene that we'll look at today, the king is told that he must make an impossible choice: save his wife or his yet-to-be-born child, with no certainty of either one surviving regardless. This should be a very tense and dramatic scene, and a chance for the lead actor to showcase his acting ability. However, in this moment, it's played out in a simple OTS, or over-the-shoulder shot, much like what would be used in any normal sitcom conversation, which it then cuts away to immediately. We should be watching this character making the decision during this conversation in a way that stresses its importance. Perhaps we could have his doctor stage in the foreground of the shot, with the lead character in the center and then his wife off in the background. shot on a wider lens while pushing in very slowly to him throughout the entirety of the conversation, so that the audience can watch him go through the whole range of emotions that would come with a dramatic scene like this. Additionally, if we adjust that angle of the light coming from the window, we could also create a more dramatic scene, keeping the Doctor silhouetted, hinting at the sort of dark nature that his profession has during this time. The King partially lit, with the corner of his face still in shadow, visually showing his internal conflict, and then his wife in the background, lit evenly and softly, showing her good and self-sacrificial nature. This would also give a much more dynamic image in terms of creating depth and separation through the differing values of light and shadow, creating a dark to light to dark to light pattern on the screen. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it, and if you haven't got to yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this, and let me know in the comments, what did you think of House of the Dragon?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.